Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everybody. This is Conservative School Talk Radio, and this is your host, Wayne Bradley. Thank you for listening on the show tonight. We got a lot of topics we're going to talk about. I want to thank everyone that's listening, and this is going to be the last show for the year, so this is a very important time, and we're going into a new year. There's going to be all kind of things going on, different changes that need to be made, and I appreciate everyone that's been listening so far, and hopefully in 2010 we'll continue to grow and continue to have just what I consider normal, everyday Americans calling in and getting their opinions out in the open, and we can all talk about what we can do to create a better America. That is one of the goals of this show. So I want to thank everybody that's listening, and hope we have a good show this evening. The first thing that I'm going to talk about, and it's something that hits very close to home, was the near terrorist attack that we had in Detroit on Christmas Day. I made a comment yesterday on Twitter, and I got a lot of people back and forth about it, about the fact that this is something that we're going to have to do. These terrorists are not going to go away by themselves. So this is something that we're going to have to be proactive on, and we should not wait. Again, I mean, this is essentially, this man was going to blow up a plane right in Detroit, right over my city, and that scares me. And I hope the people that are in Detroit, that are in the area, realize that how serious that is. This is not, a lot of people, it doesn't hit home with them until they realize, okay, this is real, and this could have happened in Detroit, or it could have happened in anywhere else besides in New York. And I tend to believe that it doesn't affect people until they realize it could happen there. But this terrorist was going to blow up a plane over Detroit, and not only was he going to do that, he was arrested and taken to the U of M hospital, one of the better hospitals in the country, before he was arraigned. So, I mean, he's actually getting better care than a lot of people in America are getting before he was arraigned, and I think we ought to point out all of that. It's a crucial time in America, and we have to take our defense seriously. I think we've taken our safety for granted. After 9/11, we haven't had any more attacks in America, and so in this kind of way, we tend to take it for granted and to think that nothing else can happen. And I want to let people know that that's just wrong. That is not that's not possible. That it could definitely, another attack is imminent. It could be imminent if we don't take the defense of our country more seriously. And I'm hoping that the current administration and all our leaders focus on that. While we're trying to create health care bills and obviously what I would consider bad spending bills, we need to really hone in and focus on the security of our country. So I'm hoping we can get some callers in this evening. I look forward to hearing from you. 347-996-3175. We're going to talk about a few topics. I'll give you the topics. We're going to talk about the terrorist attack near Detroit. We're going to talk a little bit more about the health care bill that was bought out by the Democrats. They paid Senator Nelson $300 million in tax breaks, only for his state, may I add, to make this bill go through. And like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about possible maybe 2010 and maybe 2012 candidates, and really what we're expecting as far as change in 2010. There's been a lot of talk of different maybe third parties, a Tea Party revolution, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to also talk possibly, if we have time, about the actual KSM trial, which kind of is linked to the whole idea of the terrorist attack that we almost had in Detroit on Christmas Day. People don't understand that's their only goal, is to spread terror. Not necessarily every time, regardless of the fact that if the bomb went off, or thank God it didn't, the idea of the terror was spread. Security was changed. People's plans were changed based on what these terrorists were doing. So we've got to be proactive, and we've got to actually go after these people and make them realize that America is not the place that they want to come to and make these kind of problems. And right now, I don't know if the current administration and leaders in general. I'm not going to pick on one person on that. He's the president. He has to make the call. I'm expecting that this kind of thing will not go with a blind eye. I hope not. I hope he doesn't treat it as an isolated incident, because it's not. They promised that there will be more attacks. This one wasn't successful. They promised there will be more. So don't treat it like an isolated incident. Treat it as an actual national security issue and deal with it appropriately. I don't want to see anything happen to our country, and I'm hoping that we can all move in the right direction. I see we got our first caller here, so I'm going to take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Hey, caller, you're on the air. Can you hear me? You got to step away from the computer if you're calling me.
Okay, I'm just listening in, sir. Hello.
All right, we're going to take the second caller here. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes.
How you
You're the
doing
one.
This evening?
I'm fine, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And who am I speaking with?
This is Sam. I saw your tweet that said conservatives are cool or something like that. Conservative is cool.
Yeah, conservativeiscool.com. That's my the website and our blog site. But how are you doing this evening?
I'm great, but I have a comment for you.
Go ahead.
I haven't really read your blog, so you might be on the same page as me, but I want to say something.
All right.
Being black is cool right now, but to be but to be conservative is the most uncool thing, because pictures of Sarah Palin, honestly, I watch that woman and I'm glued to her. I want to watch her till I can consume her. And the more I watch her, the more ridiculous the idea of this woman as a president. Talk show host, things like that. But the president of a nation, she takes a call from two comedians who are parodying as a leader of a nation. She just doesn't fit in. So I have changed my party. I am conservative. I do believe in equal rights for gay people. I believe if they could just change the title from marriage to calling it contractual something, everyone would be fine with it. If that's what they want to do, everyone's fine with it. But because they keep harping on using the same term, marriage, it brings out insecurity in married couples, or it brings out animosity that married couples feel it's a God-given right almost to be married as opposite sexes. And then these people come along and they say, no, we have a God-given right too, because that's an equal protection right. So I feel I've come a long way on the issue. But honestly, I haven't read your blog, but hey, are you trying to say that you're on the conservative party, the Tea Party side?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about all the different issues. I always tell people this: I'm a Christian first, a conservative second, and a Republican third. So that's the order I go. But as far as you can't ignore the Tea Party. I guess that was the issue, that there are actually enough people right now that are willing to make a third party. I don't know if it will be successful. But there is definitely a Tea Party revolution out here. Where are you calling from, Sandy?
I'm in the most conservative town, almost the most conservative town, Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield, California. That's okay with me. I understand that. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Now, you said that you have some conservative values, but you sound like you also have some somewhat liberal values. Being out there in California, you can't help it. I understand.
Absolutely. And I want to say something when you said I'm a Christian first. I am amazed. Look, I come from my mother's part Russian, my father's from Kashmir. I was raised with British nuns all the way through private school till 12th grade. So I have a very cosmopolitan education. I have a bachelor's degree in political science. I want to ask you this question because it amazes me when African American people who are descendants of slaves, they were brought here, they were beaten, forced, raped, you name it, and the horrible things were done to them. And that's what caused to change their religion. So how could an African American say in all good conscience that I'm a good Christian because Christian religion was almost forced upon them? Am I wrong? I mean, I don't get it.
Well, now I tell you what, I'm gonna answer that if I get enough time this evening. That's a long and good question, but I will if I get a chance. I got I see some more callers coming in.
Okay.
What I will do, Sandy, is I will answer that question for you because when I get a little time here, I'm gonna go on with a couple more of the different issues this evening. But I promise you, I will answer that question, and we can tweet this evening if we can go into it a little bit more, okay?
I would love that. Now, how do I hear you vocally? Because I have
just go back online to that link I gave you on Twitter, and you can listen in on for the rest of the show. But I promise I'll answer your questions.
I would love it, and I'm not being mean. I'm just so inquisitive about this issue. No one has been able to give me a satisfactory answer.
All right. Well, I promise we'll deal with that. I'll take care of that for you, okay?
Take care.
All right, Sandy. You have a good evening. God bless you, okay?
You too.
Bye-bye. All right. I'm about to take the second caller here. Let me see who we got here. Caller, you're on the air. Hello? All right. I got somebody in Lansing. I recognize that zip code. And I got somebody from Detroit calling. I'm going to take the call. Caller, you're on the air. Hello. You got to step away from the computer when you're calling in. How you doing this evening? Someone's calling in from Detroit. I'm on the line with you. Can you hear me? All right. Go ahead and hang that call up there. All right. So if you just want to listen into the show, you can go to the link, or you can go to my website, conservativescool.com, and click on the actual radio link, or just go to Blog Talk Radio /conservativescool, and you can listen to the radio show live for the whole broadcast. If you're interested in calling in and you have something to say, whether you agree or disagree, you can call in at 347-996-3175, and I've got another caller calling in. Caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, this is Mark from Carroll. How are you?
Hey, Mark, how are you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Hey, right off the bat, I want to comment on something that Sandy touched on at the risk of stirring the pot.
Go ahead. Let's stir the pot.
Brother, you and I are brothers in Christ. You and I have already had many conversations.
Yes, sir.
Color is irrelevant. We are both human beings. And this nonsense of you're an Afro-American, I'm an Anglo-American, you know what? You and I were both born from our mothers here in the U.S. You and I are both U.S. citizens. We are both human beings. And if we start approaching it with this perception, instead of this you're black on white, and keeping this dissension stirred up, I assure you this is not what makes the world go round.
I totally agree with you. I didn't want to. I didn't really want to go into that right then, but I agree with you 100%. Me and you both wake up in the morning, put on our clothes the same way, and go to work and do what we have to do. Is we're all Americans here. I think that by Obama being elected, showing that race was not an issue in America anymore. To be honest, that's my personal feeling. Like, we got to move past that. She was about to really get into a thing about slavery and everything else, and about how I could change religions, and I guess the best way to address that is, I'm past that standpoint of being, of that situation and thinking of it in those terms. I was raised in America, so I'm an American. I was raised in a Christian household, so I mean that's the way I was raised and brought up. So I have no other teaching but that, and that's the way that I continue to follow.
Such a blessing to hear that. Instead of all of this other foolishness every time you turn on the TV and the radio. That's one of the things I really appreciate.
They're doing that to distract us, Mark. They're doing that to distract us all. It's all a distraction.
Well, I tell you what.
That's why I can't wait to get up there to do that Tea Party speech.
I am looking forward to it. I'll tell you what. That's as much a distraction as some fool trying to light up his moccasins in the bathroom of a jumbo jet. It's like we need to open the door and start throwing them guys out at 10,000 feet. You know what? The message will get back to Baghdad. Hey, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I was actually having a good conversation today with on Twitter with someone. I don't know if I tell people to follow the tweets because I talk to a lot of different people. And I was talking to someone, an interrogator, former interrogator, and she said she didn't really agree with the tactics, some of the tactics that the waterboarding, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I just kind of feel like you're right. You got to send a message to people that they understand that this kind of thing will not be tolerated. I don't know what we need to do, but sending them to the U of M hospital and giving them the best medical care and the best conditions you can have. I mean, I can't go there right now, but he can. Doesn't make sense.
It goes deeper than that. It's this way. We have this messed up ideology that somebody that comes here attacks our land, tries to destroy us as a civilized nation, and they have the same rights as a U.S. citizen. They have more rights than a U.S. citizen. The truth is, they have no rights. They are not here by permission. They are not here as our guests. They are here as hostile enemies, not just by act, but by the very fact that they came here by illegal means. And with that in mind, they have no recourse but to be punished. And hey, however they want to defend themselves, that's their problem. They stuck their own head in that noose. And when we start approaching it that way, and it's one thing to have compassion and mercy on somebody that deserves it, but somebody that's hostile, it's very clear in the Bible. There's three times where it is acceptable to take somebody's life: when they attack your family members, when they attack your property that you've worked for, and when they attack your nation.
Right.
And when we start,
simple.
When we start getting away from the Bible, and there's people that, we have alternative religion. This country was founded on biblical precepts. If you don't agree with it,
and that's why we've been the most blessed country. Period. That has a lot to do with it. And the more we move away from it, the more we're going to be in the worst shape. Bottom line.
Yep. It's not my fault that God, by your definition, is something other than the Creator. But the bottom line is, God is God. And you can put whatever label you want on Him.
Right.
But you're either going to worship the Creator or you're going to worship the creature. If you got a problem with that, go find a nice quiet place and discuss it with God. It's not something that we need to try to resolve. Each of us has our own destiny, and the bottom line is we're going to make a decision where we spend eternity, and it all has to begin with the shed blood and the Savior that we just celebrated his birthday. And
there you go.
The
Tell
other,
them, Mark. Hey, listen, I appreciate you letting. So a lot of people don't want to hear it that way. I appreciate you calling in and letting these people hear it that way, because that's the way that's the truth. That really is the truth. And why don't you? I want you tell them one time, because I'm really proud that I'm actually coming up there for this Tea Party event. Give them a date and what day we're going to be up there.
Okay, it is January 18th, and it's a Monday night. It's 7 p.m. It's up in Carroll, Michigan. I jokingly say if you take Van Dyke and go up to like 84 Mile Road, if you come up to Tuscola County, Tuscola County is in the middle of the thumb, and Carroll, Michigan is the county seat. And the meeting is going to be at 115 Grant Street, and we are looking forward to having you come and share your thoughts. And it's all about loving our country and sticking up for it, because it has been so great to us. We have our freedom because of people that have gone before us and shed their blood. Let's not make all that in vain by giving it up.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Mark, and I definitely, I'll see you soon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening, and I'll be listening.
All right. God bless you. Bye-bye. Yes, that's going to be my first Tea Party speech coming up, everybody, January 18th. So we'll probably try to figure out, we're going to get away so we can do a Ustream broadcast, or also tape it for YouTube to download so you guys can catch that. That's going to be history in the making right there. And again, I think that everybody needs to understand that as a country, 2010, I really hope that's something we can all move past, is just really as far as looking past race and realizing that we're all one country. There's all different kind of people here. That's what makes America so great. But we really, really have to try our best. I know it's not it's not realistic to say that everyone's going to do that, but we really want to focus more on the issues and focus on what we can do as a country to get things better. We need to really look past race. I guess that's moving on to that, and I definitely will talk with Sandy a little bit more about that. But we just, as a country, it's bigger than that now. We show that, and that's one thing I say I'm proud of America for saying, is that we look past race. Obviously, we voted in our first black president, history in the making. So from that standpoint, that we've shown already that we can look past race, but we have to also look past it in every other aspect of it, instead of singling people out and making one person this way or another. Let's all figure out ways and solutions that we can make this country a better place for my kids and our kids and grandkids, because really that's what our parents did and our grandparents did, is they worked and they saved and they did things to make sure that we could be put in a better situation. And I think that as a country, we need to really do that ourselves. The last two generations, my generation and my parents' generation, I would say, we have gotten hooked on credit. I was thinking about this as I'm driving home. We have got hooked on credit, and that's kind of like why, as a country, we're turning our eyes to what's going on here as far as the way we're spending money, because in reality, a lot of us are spending money like this in our homes. And so we kind of can turn a blind eye if someone's actually spending money that's not, we don't look at as ours, unfortunately, but it's our money, and someone else is spending money in similar fashion to the way some people are spending at home, which is not saving and not thinking about the future, but only right now. And that's kind of like the situation we're in with our government. they're making a situation that it could temporarily fix things now. There's no question about that, that some of these things could temporarily fix things, but over the long term, what is it doing for our country? The bottom line, are we putting ourselves in a worse situation? Are we robbing Peter to pay Paul? We're creating another government entity, another government program that, if you compare it with Social Security, if you compare it with Medicare and Section 8 and all the other government programs that are severely over budget, I just don't see how we can create something right now where we're already in the hole, when people don't want to buy our bonds, and our money is slowly trickling. I mean, I'm in the Detroit area, and I remember that when I was little, you could go to Canada or something like that, and you go somewhere, go shopping, or go to a store, and your money would be worth more. You could go there, and you might bring $50, and it might be worth $75 over this. You might be able to do something a little different than you could over here. But now, and it was an exchange rate when you came back, but now their money is pretty much on par with ours, and people have to realize that that's where the issues are. It's not that I think the president is an intelligent man. It's just that his route to getting to a better country, I don't necessarily think is the route that is the most prudent. I'm sure the people listening to me this evening that are financially might have some issues, but we can't print money, and a lot of that seems to be the conflict that we're having here, is that we're printing money and that we're not doing things the way in my house. I can't print money. If I don't have it right now, I just can't do it. So I think that's kind of like, they call the Republicans the party of no. You have to give them credit for trying to at least be sensible about the situation. I mean, at this point, it seems obvious that we're just trying to pass any kind of bill. In the beginning, it was public option that had to be there. Once the president realized that might not happen, he just said, okay, well, forget the public option. Just give me something. Put something together. And that's why a lot of the real liberals have fought it now, because they realize it's not going to be what they want. It's just going to be a large spending bill that might help a few people, but it's not what the truest of liberals were looking for, which is a public option. And I respect them for actually saying they'd rather not have a bill either if they don't get their public option. At least they're sticking up for their principles, and it seems that we need this administration to do the same thing. Don't just create a bill to say that, hey, I passed a bill. I passed a health care bill, when it's not helping much of anybody except the insurance companies, the lawyers, and, the people of that nature, as opposed to the people. If you're going to find a way to give a public option, which I don't think would be a good idea, then stick true to that. That's what you guys wanted. Stick true to it and fight for it if that's what you believe is worth fighting for. But obviously they don't, or they might think it's unrealistic because they've given up on that so quickly, which again kind of points to me that, hey, we're just trying to get a bill at this point, claim a victory, regardless of how serious the actual bill is and how much it can actually help people. We just want to get a bill passed. So we're gonna move on to some other issues. 2010 is quickly approaching. We have a few more days here. This is the last show of the year, and I want to hear people's ideas on some good 2010 and also 2012 candidates. I want to hear the people that you have on your radar, the same way I might have on my radar. We talk about a lot of different people on Twitter every day. And so I want to hear what you have to say. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I'm going to go to my Twitter and see if I've got any interesting tweets here. I want to thank everybody that follows me on Twitter, and I follow you. It's been really rewarding, like communicating and networking with this many people from all over the world. My website has been seen by over, the last time I checked was like 35 different countries. I have right now 12,711 followers, which I appreciate every one of you that's listening, every one of you that retweets the things that I think about and post during the day. We're at a critical time as far as our country goes, moving into 2010. And we have a 10%, national 10% unemployment rate. In Detroit, I would say it's closer to 20. And they've said that, if you add up all the different numbers, it would be closer to 50%, which is pretty scary. Going into 2010, we have a lot of decisions we have to make, and both sides of the aisle need to be concerned, Republicans and Democrats, because bottom line is a lot of these guys were spending. Everybody was spending. It wasn't just Democrats, Republicans too, and that's where conservatives you can have an issue with the GOP party also, is because they're spending in a way that usually only Democrats would do. So we all have these different it's issues. If you're a conservative, you have issues not only with Democrats. Obviously, you would have them with a lot of the GOP right now, because they're not really abiding by what the principles of a real conservative, which is smaller government, less spending, less taxing. They're spending right along with the Democrats. It's almost like they just you've fallen into the culture of D.C. and I think that that's one of the things I'm talking about as far as these third maybe a third party, Tea Party, they call different things of that nature. There are people out here that are not satisfied with either one of the major two parties right now, and a lot of people, as time goes on, we'll just see if they get the message in 2010. But by 2012, this kind of disappointment with our government, period, not, like I said, not with just one person, but with government overall, it is very possible that there could be a third party or an independent party, and it would just be a matter of if they found someone that was willing to step out and represent them, would they have someone big enough to actually attract more people to that party or to challenge in a presidential race or anything like that. I had someone calling in, recently just talking about Sarah Palin, and and people feel strongly about Sarah Palin either one way or the other, and it's very similar to the same way a lot of people might feel about President Obama. A lot of people just seem, if they're negative about Sarah Palin, it's usually ugly, and that's the thing I would say that I don't like, that it's usually not just challenging her on maybe some issues or something. It usually gets ugly or personal, as if you know the woman or something, and I think that's where I kind of draw the line. Me personally, it's not too many issues that I have with her. The bigger issue right now in the present is the fact that she actually quit being governor, and I would have an issue with that. But again, sometimes in this political forum, there's so many things going on that she might have decided that was the best thing for her state and did that. She also is going to have a lot of decisions to make over in her future, as if she's going to want to be a politician or a superstar of sort. She's going to have to really make that decision. She can either choose to live, in public service, or she could obviously choose a career writing books, doing talk shows, and that sort of thing, and make a very, good living doing that. But she will have to make a decision if she wants to either serve the American people, and if she's up to that task, or becoming a celebrity. And you can't, if she realizes that she might not be up for that task, then you can't criticize it. But I see a lot of people, I get a lot of tweets on my blog. She's heads and above all the other GOP candidates right now, and that's among the people. There's no slants to my polling. I list the names, and people pick the names. And recently she's been up as high as 46-47% over all the usual suspects: Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty. We're getting new people. Thune is a lot of people are, putting a lot of different people out there, but it's just going to take time we got a couple more years before you really start putting out your number one, number two candidates. But, I mean, it's never too early to think because realistically this country is in a situation where just as before where there was a harp on change, well, there's going to be more change. And, again, you got another few years before we can look at presidential races. But senators and congressmen, they really have a lot to think about. And I think that's why we've had it's taken so long to get this bill passed because a lot of these gentlemen, and I use that term loosely, are thinking about their political careers when they're making all these decisions. And that's why Senator Nelson didn't have a problem selling out his vote for $300 million and tax breaks for Nebraska and making sure his Medicare programs were paid for forever, as opposed to, thinking about the direction of the whole country. But his constituents might be okay with that. But from what I've seen from the governor of Nebraska, they're not happy with it. So in any other type of business, that what happened there would be considered a bribe. And let's just call a spade a spade. If I called a politician and said, I need you to vote this way on a land deal or a deal, and you offer him money to do it and he's willing to accept it, it's a bribe. Now, in politics, you can call this willing and dealing, but he wouldn't sign off on the deal. He thought it was a bad deal until they gave him $300 million, to cover his state, which is admirable for his state, and he can always say that he tries to look out for his state, but it was actually just, he sold his vote. He sold his vote to the highest bidder, and that's how that bill got passed. And I think that the American citizens, we see this now, and again, the mainstream media is not going to really challenge a lot of this stuff, and that's why you have to have all these different mediums. We're online, and there's no constraints to what we're saying here. And again, I try to be as fair as possible, but the national media, the mainstream media, is not interested in being fair. They have their own agenda, and they're willing to look past a lot of stuff, and so. We have a lot of work to do in 2010. I got a caller here. I'm going to take this call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, Wayne. This is CK from Detroit.
How you doing, CK from Detroit?
I'm very well this evening. How are you? Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Happy Blessed New Year to you.
Thank you very much. What's going on with you?
Well, I was just listening to your broadcast, and one thing struck me. We may have some slightly opposing views on things. I am an Obama supporter, but I don't necessarily agree with everything that he's trying to do. I like what you said, that some people act like he just absolutely hates the country and wants to destroy it, and I believe that's rubbish. You said that that's the way he's going about some things, and that we need to pray for him. And I think that is extremely important, whether it be Republicans, Democrats, Independents, or whatever. We need to be keeping him in prayer, that he makes wise decisions. He and our other leaders, asking.
Yeah, I don't think he hates America, but I do believe he fundamentally does want to kind of change America, and that. It concerns me, and it does seem like a lot of our politicians are working around the Constitution of how we're getting things done with the health care bill. It was Senator Reid he put an amendment in the bill saying that it can never be changed again once it's written into law. I mean, there's no other bills out here that have that kind of amendment in it. So I just believe, that the way they're going about it, it's not natural. It's not necessarily how we've always done things in America, and we, just the same way that people of faith, like myself, we try to stick with the Bible. As a country, we need to stick with the Constitution. It's just, it's that simple. A lot of things that, we're just kind of overlooking things, and it's getting sloppy. And the people who vote these people in need to start, paying attention to it and holding them accountable to everything they say they're going to do, and make sure they're doing it the right way. CK from Detroit.
Well, I have the feeling that by the time this they're calling it like a secret, the conference committee that's so secretive, so mysterious. Something tells me that by the time they get through going through the bill and making changes, that perhaps because that to me also does not seem acceptable, that by the time they get finished with the bill, hopefully there will still be some teeth in the bill. And the main reason for all of this is that there are a lot of people who simply cannot afford to do what you do, pay out of their pocket for some decent health insurance. You can. I'm blessed to have insurance, but I have friends who work and have decent jobs, just enough to pay the bills, but they don't have health insurance for their jobs, and they simply do not make enough to pay for it out of pocket by the time they pay their other bills. And I don't mean by the time they pay for their flat screens and luxury cars. I mean to just pay for, the basics, for transportation, a decent place to live, auto insurance, food, those kinds of things, basic necessities. They simply don't have hundreds of extra dollars a month to pay for health insurance, and they just hope and pray that no one gets hurt or no one gets sick. So this is my solution to that. This is my solution to that whole idea of if you open up all state lines and let all the healthcare companies compete against each other, you're going to have some cheap plans and you'll have those expensive plans. The cheap plans will be the ones available for people like you say work but can't afford maybe the top of the line healthcare plan, but they have something that's provided that's affordable. And right now, the way it works is every state has their own healthcare agencies, and it's only so many of them, and they can pretty much fix prices regardless if they're saying it or not. There's not much competition, so all of a sudden now it's the same way you would have cell phone companies. You can get Verizon or you can get Metro PCS. Both of them you can make calls on, but one's going to be probably a lot more expensive than the other. It's just a matter of, but you need communication. So I just think that's the best way that if the government wants to get involved with health care, open up the the way we do everything else, good old capitalism, open up the floodgates and let everybody compete for our dollars. Let some company from California that has a lot of clients, let them come to Michigan and offer a real good rate for healthy young people or, whatever. So, I mean, you can make it work. It's just a matter of the government having to be willing to do that. So I appreciate you calling in. Is there anything, have you been enjoying the show so far? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I'm glad that I found out about the time change. So I would have missed it. I missed it the last two times. I didn't realize that there had been a time change. So, and I tried to get it on Ustream, but it's not coming through. I didn't do Ustream tonight. I might go on there for the last 15 minutes here, just so people can see how I'm doing here. That you might do. Okay, but it's at first it was a little gargly coming through, but then it cleared up and everything's getting good, clear reception, and I'm enjoying it very much. All right, CK from Detroit, who's also my mom for everybody listening out here. So I will talk to you later, Mom. Okay, son. Take care. Love you. Goodbye. Bye-bye. All right, that was my mom, an Obama supporter. I will not hold that against her or any of my other friends, but loved ones. But hope everybody's listening. Like I said, that's why I always tell the liberals. I get a lot of liberals on my page saying, how can you like me if I supported Obama? I say, hey, my mom supported Obama. There's no way I can't have love for people just because of who you supported as a president. We all make mistakes, But hope everybody's enjoying the show tonight, listening in. We get callers from all over the place. And if you got any questions, then give me a call, 347-996-3175. We're talking about all the different issues of the terrorist attack that was near Detroit in my backyard, health care bill that doesn't look like it's going to be much of a health care bill by the time they're done. We're talking about possible 2010 candidates and I guess also the idea of a third party, including the Tea Party revolution and independent voters. So if you have any questions, give me a call, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you. Give me a call.
Yeah, my wife just came in and told me I was wrong for making the comment about everybody makes mistakes. You know, you gotta have a little fun with it. You know, I do forgive all my friends and loved ones who made that decision. I tried to tell you before it happened that this, you know, let's not just get emotional here with this decision. Let's think about it. And you know, like I said, I love y'all. Even all my liberals. Where's my guy out in California? I'm looking for all my Twitter, my liberals out here. If you're listening tonight, give me a call. I know somebody you gotta get it in, talking about all these different things. Kathy 115, where are you at? You said you were calling in tonight. Vanessa, where are you at in Baltimore? It's the last show to Eden. Lady Gurr out in Alaska. Give me a call. I want to hear from everybody out there this evening. All my friends on Twitter, my Twitter family, that's what I call them, because we talk every day, and probably some days my wife is mad because I probably spend a lot of time with you guys, but I love what I'm doing. I love the idea of what is just normal people trying to get our voices heard, and really that's the only way that we're going to have a chance of doing that is by taking different mediums and getting our voices heard out here. So I want to hear from you, America. We got 15 minutes left on the show. 347-996-3175. If you heard Mark calling in earlier, he told you I will be at a Tea Party event on January 18th. This is going to be my first Tea Party speech, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll probably, like I said, we'll probably try to shoot it live on Ustream also. If not, we'll definitely have it on tape for YouTube uploads. If you get a chance, go to my website. That's where it all starts, conservativeiscool.com. We have all kind of different things on the site, all the most recent news. We also have a live chat room on there. I'm going to start doing some live chats more often, but you can also hear all the old radio broadcasts and any Ustreams that I've done. Tonight I didn't do a Ustream broadcast because I just wanted to kind of focus on what's going on. But I'm thinking about going on for the last 15 minutes just in case anybody's out there that wants to check out the show on Ustream also. So I'm thinking about it. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. Like I said, we're going into a new year, 2010. It's a lot of things going on. Big year, a lot of different candidates. Harry Reid is going up, Pelosi. You got a lot of different people. This is an election year for them. So the American people have to stand up. We have to make our voices heard. Call them all out, Democrats or Republicans. If the Republican is spending like a Democrat, he's just as bad as him. Call him out too. So go on to the Conservatives Cool blog and check out who is your favorite candidate for 2012. We have polls. There's a lot of different information on there, so I hope you check it out. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. We've only got 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes left on the show tonight, so give me a call. I want to hear from you. Sandy, if I get a chance, I guess I can go ahead. I can answer maybe some of those questions you have for me, and I'm going to go to Twitter, make sure I'm getting it all right. You asked me about the idea of how could I be a Christian, and I'm listening here. You question how blacks come to become Christians when Christians were raped and slaves sodomized, and when they become. I don't even want to repeat everything you said, but it's pretty bad. I guess the best way to describe it is that I was raised in a Christian household. I went to Catholic school for a good part of my life. Just like in other countries, maybe those other people didn't have really many other options, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. That is the way, I guess that's where I got my beliefs from. I went to a church that I've gone to all my life, Grace Chapel Bible Church in Detroit. Pastor Ken Hampton, you can look him up online, I'm sure. That's where my foundation started with that. I guess it's real simple. You just got to have faith. I've argued with a lot of atheists on my Twitter account because I give Bible verses I try to give a good Bible verse on a daily basis, and I have people that argue with me and say, well, how can you believe that? How do you know if Christmas was on December 25th? I said, you're right. That would be a good question, but I just have faith, and the actual date is irrelevant. Is the fact that we're celebrating the Creator's birthday, God's birthday, Jesus' birthday. So that's what we're about. And as far as all the slavery and all these other things that, you're right, maybe if I was born in Africa and never came to America, maybe I would have never been introduced to Christianity at that point. But this point in my life, again, I can't go back that far and answer why that people are, choose the religions they do. But the great thing about America is, people have the choice to choose what they want to do, and I'm proud to say that I'm a Christian and I follow the Lord. So I can't answer why everyone would do that, but that would be my answer. That was the way I was raised, and I don't know any different, and I've never wanted to. I guess I've never even really wanted to challenge that. So that would be where I'm coming from on that, and that would be my answer to that. I hope, Sandy, that kind of answers the question of how I could be a black man that's a conservative and also be a Christian. Kind of all goes hand in hand, if you ask me. And like I said, I've stated this before. I said it on my Twitter account. I'm a Christian first, a conservative second, and a Republican third. So if you go in that order, we should all be able to respect and get along with each other and understand where we're coming from on that. So if you're listening, I hope you understand that's where I come from on that issue, and I hope that anybody else is listening, that's where I stand, and we don't have to continue going over that issue anymore. But if you got any questions, give me a call. I'm open for all calls and questions, 347-996-3175. Give me a call. We've got about roughly eight minutes left on the show, so if anybody's calling in, I want to hear from you. Coco, if you're out in Beverly Hills listening on the show this evening, Coco 90210, my Twitter friend out there in Beverly Hills, give me a call. I want to hear from you. Vanessa, where are you at? I got 8 minutes left, and we're last show of the year. I got to hear from you, so give me a call out there in Baltimore. I want to hear from you. I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas. I hope everybody had a good time. So give me a call. Hope everybody has a safe, happy New Year celebration. Don't drink and drive. Make sure you got you a designated driver with you if that's what you choose to do. And everybody have a safe, happy New Year. So give me a call, 347-996-3175. In the new year, I'm going to have a couple different formats, I hope, to going forward. I want to have maybe 2 shows a week, or maybe expanding the hours. And I'm also thinking about doing something in the daytime, because I seem to get a lot of calls also. And not a lot of calls, but a lot of more feedback from my Twitter friends during the daytime. So thinking about maybe doing something in the daytime to see if we can get some more feedback and more people calling in, talking about the issues. We might have a lot of people that go to bed early. 10 o'clock is late for some people. I don't go to sleep too much. I get about 3 to 4 hours in, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm willing to go whatever time is convenient for you guys. You give me any suggestions on Twitter, let me know when's the best time, or call in 347-996-3175. You can also Facebook friends and everything else. So go to conservativescool.com and you can get all that information. We can become Facebook friends. You can follow me on Twitter, whether it be on the website or on personal sites. Pretty much the same information. Every now and then it might be slightly different, but I try to keep everybody updated on everything I'm thinking and everything that's going on during the day on my Twitter account. So the Twitter address is twitter.com/WBconservative. So if you're listening out there and if for some reason we're not Twitter followers already, that's a great way that we can keep in touch with each other. Follow me on Twitter and let's become friends. Let's see, what other issues? We're rolling into the last 5 minutes of the evening here, and again, I just want to hear if anybody. I guess we can also discuss the KSM trial real quick, because that's kind of linked with the whole idea of this terrorism, the terrorist attack in Detroit, and how we're dealing with these terrorists. I'm not going to speak on this too long, because I'm not a military expert, and I'm not going to pretend to be, but it just seems to me it's quite simple that these terrorists aren't playing by the rules. They're not playing by Geneva Convention rules. they're not playing by the rules. And I spoke with someone earlier on Twitter about this. She was a former interrogator, and we went back and forth for a while about the idea of house draping. We spoke a lot about the idea of waterboarding and these different methods of interrogation. And my personal feeling is if it's not effective, don't use it. But if it is in any kind of way, I don't have a problem with it. And quite frankly, I don't have to know about every method and everything that the CIA or military is using, because we don't need to know everything, because all that does is better train these terrorists and give them more knowledge of what they need to do to beat our system. And that's, quite frankly, we need to look at it that way, as opposed to trying to expose everything with this, kind of TMZ internet culture, trying to expose everything we're doing. Certain things are better left to let those people do their jobs, and we have to realize that that's going to affect the service people that are working. That's going to affect their jobs further down the road, because they might not want to get in any legal trouble or have to go to court or be interrogated themselves down the road by some lawyer, because they're going to start making these terrorist trials public and, giving them the same rights as American citizens, as, rights to free trials and these sort of things. The KSM trial that will be in New York City will be nothing more than propaganda and training for these future, for these terrorists in other countries. And I think we need to really pay attention to that. It's not that I don't think that we shouldn't treat them as humans. I mean, what they want to do is inhumane, but they're human, so okay, give them a trial, but it doesn't have to be in New York City where you're going to dig up the wounds of people that are trying to heal in New York City. These people that don't want them there, they never consulted with the New York City police before they made the decision. It's just kind of like we don't give them the exact same privileges that they want to destroy here in America. They don't respect America. They don't respect anything about America, so it's almost backwards to give them the exact same privileges and freedoms and choices of the legal system that you would give to American citizens. So that being said, I don't necessarily I don't think that we have to know everything that's done to these guys. That this guy that was coming over to Detroit to bomb, to blow up a plane right over Detroit. Personally, I don't care what you do to him to get information out of him. If you got to pick eyebrows out, hey, that's fine with me. Get the information you need to get the rest of those guys so they don't get on airplanes and go do the same thing. We need leaders that are willing to do the things that are necessary to win. We're not here to play pansies with these guys and hold hands. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to be our friend, and there's nothing that we can offer them that's going to change their minds. And the quicker that the president and this current administration realizes that, I think the better off our country is going to be. They believe in the fact that if they negotiate, that means they've won already. So let's not give them that extra fuel by always asking them to come sit down at the table with us and talk with no conditions, no preconditions. They are not worthy of talking to our president without preconditions. If they're not willing to acknowledge certain things or say they're willing to look at certain things, we need to deal with them appropriately. So that being said, that's how I feel about the treatment of terrorists and possible people that want to do our country any harm. And I hope that as a country we realize that's the way that this needs to be dealt with. Take the white gloves off. Stop treating them as if we just pick somebody up off the corner and we're just arresting them and giving them Miranda rights. These people want to destroy America. Let's treat them as such. And I hope that that message rings true with people. I'm not out here calling for wars on countries. A lot of these tactical operations could probably be done without a full onslaught of war. You just need to deal with the people that are training these people. We need to go to their training camps and deal with them appropriately. These people right now threaten to do it again, so I think that we need to really be mindful of that and have a stern hand. And again, we do have to pray for our leaders, pray for them that they'll see the light and see the direction that we're going in, and maybe make change as he supposedly said he was going to do. So that being said, I thank everyone that's listened to this show this evening. I think everybody that's listened before. You can always go listen to these broadcasts the next day, and I thank everyone. God bless you. 2010 will be a better year, and thanks for calling in, conservativescool.com. Bye-bye.